Hey everyone, and welcome to Paranormal Q&A with Jack Kenna and
Carly Hall.
Carly Hall.
Woohoo.
So welcome everybody tonight. Hope everybody's okay out there. Everybody's doing good. Hope everybody survived the snowstorm. I don't know if I did, but I went out and shoveled some of that snow and it was a lot heavier than I thought it was. So
Yeah.
that's what it is, I guess.
I tried cleaning my car off this morning and I'm like, it was bad.
There's Barry. Barry just jumped in. Yeah, well, I went out and shoveled this afternoon or tonight. I mean, and the snow was a lot heavier than they said. It was light snow, and it wasn't very light to me. So
No, it wasn't.
weird. So, but we got it done. So, because I had to clean it off anyway. There's Bob Burnell, Michelle Millens. Hello, everybody out there. I said hi to Barry. I know Barry saw us. Michelle says, "Hey kids." Amy Green is out there. Hello, Amy. How you doing? So, were we supposed to have a guest tonight?
No.
No, I thought we were supposed to, and then they had to cancel.
Okay. No, that was in later in February.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, we'll reschedule whoever that is. So, oh, excuse me. Tired from shoveling. Sorry, everybody. I apologize for that. So Barry says the storm situation is much more as much for me now. Okay, there you go. It was earlier today. Yeah, I mean, we got a lot of snow here. We didn't get as much as a lot of people. We got like about, I don't know, about 8 inches. It turned out to be kind of heavy and wet where I am. So I don't know what happened. I know it started off kind of dry last night, but somewhere along the line today, it got a little heavy. Sarah Alexa is out there. Carl Mitchell, there's Carl. How's it going out there, Carl? Yeah, snow. No, I've had enough. Why do we have to keep having snow in the winter? They can move to Florida, I suppose. It wouldn't have snow. They have other problems, hurricanes, things like that, certain times of year. Snow, hurricanes, your choice. So we announced a new show last night that's we're going to be part of. It's not our show, but there's Ghost Soldier 407 is on. William Maskell's here. Okay, William. Gail, love it. I mispronounced that. So, but Gail's here. I always mispronounce people's names. I apologize for that. Holly's here. So, anyways, so we announced a new show we're going to be part of. Our friend Candace Weston is the host of it, and it's called Seekers of the Unseen. And she's the founder of ICU Paranormal. So we're going to be part of that. And that show will be on, the first show will be on this Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 8 p.m. Central Time. So if you guys want to join us for that too, just remember that. I did put out a post about that today. So we're here to usually answer everybody's questions. I'm just rambling on as usual. There's Irox is out there. It says, can't hear anything. Is that on my side?
Nope, it fixed. He's got it.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. So I guess it was on your side. But if you guys got any questions for us tonight, throw them out there. We got a couple new things coming up. We got oh my goodness. I am sorry. It's not you people. It was, like I said, just was out shoveling, so I'm a little bit tired after that. The air was kind of thin, so it was kind of hard for me to breathe out there. So, yeah, we got a couple investigations coming up that we're going to do, private residential cases. So we got that coming up for us. I don't think we have anything too extremely serious. I don't think either one of them is anything demonic, but one could be potentially somebody who has an attachment with something that was brought in the home. We're trying to help them sort that out right now. So we'll see how that goes. And they thought it was maybe this toy chest that was given to them. They're a couple that has a new baby and stuff, and they're having a lot of activity in the baby's room. So we're trying to figure out what's going on there. But we'll be heading out there to try to help them out here this weekend. Sort through that. So that's interesting. I always find haunted items interesting. Like Carly's a haunted item. Maybe that's why I find her interesting. Only kidding, Carly. Carly's not a haunted item. She was haunted, but not anymore. So anyways, what do you think, Carly? And we do have a question out there. But go ahead, give me your thoughts on haunted items. What do you think about them?
I'm not entirely sure because I don't know. It's very interesting because I think there's a lot that can go into it in terms of like emotions. I mean, for God's sakes, we know that when I go on, I'm going to be attached to my stuffed animal, and there's no amount of sage that's going to be remove me from that thing. Just on pure emotion. But I don't know. It's interesting, you know. And I think that people, when they take things home from like yard sales or antique shops, I think that it definitely should be come into account, maybe to cleanse or sage the item prior to bringing it into your home, because you definitely do not know where it's been, what it's been through, the history of it, what's attached to it, if there is anything, and then you realize too late,
right,
when it is. So
yeah, it's true. I'll say this one quick. I had a friend at work who he got a really good deal on real silverware. Got it real cheap. Turns out it was haunted. Had an attachment to it. Because I had him try some things. He'd move it out in the garage and the activity would stop in the house and it would start in the garage. And so it was kind of funny, Don't know who was attached to it or anything, but he refused to get rid of it because it was worth money. And I'm like, well, then just leave it in the garage. So, it was funny. He was wondering why he got it so cheap. So there you go. Sometimes you think it's a good deal, may not really be a good deal. Right. So we do have a couple questions out there. There's one from Iraq's out there too. So, but Sarah asked her, oh, I had a rough night with this. Anyway, she asked her question first, so we're going with the first question that came up. But she goes, I have a question. Why is it when there is an investigation show on, do they need to shut off the lights when investigating spirits? They actually don't need to, but it does help kind of reduce electrical noise within the house because you're checking EMF levels and you're looking for EMF spikes. If a spirit's trying to interact with you, you might be using a device that's an EMF detector that they can, ask for the numbers to go up and stuff on. And so by shutting lights off and shutting off different electrical devices, you can bring that EMF down. You don't have to investigate in the dark, though. It's just something they do for television. It does help with the other things like infrared cameras and stuff, though, which it'll pick up anything that's within that spectrum of light. So they are designed to be used in the dark. So that is one of the reasons they shut the lights out and stuff. But it does make things quieter. And go ahead, Carly, because I know you have a thought on that as well. I think the same one I was just going to say. So
no, my computer just freaked out, but we're good, I guess.
No, well, you're still there. I still hear you.
Okay, cool. So. Also, it helps with the investigators kind of tuning in to reduce the amount of kind of visual, I guess, like overload with lights.
Ooh, you're playing too much video games.
Yeah, that's the actual video game. But anyway, like when you're in a dark room, you're more in tune with your other senses in terms of like hearing, even your sixth sense. So it kind of enhances all your other senses when you're in the dark as well, instead of just relying on your sight.
Yep, true. And that was where I was going to go next too. But that is true. It does. So there is a reason for it. You don't really have to. And for TV, it makes things spookier too. So it's a TV thing too, as far as they go. So I hope that answers your question. Iraq says, are Ouija boards the root of a lot of cases. Uh, Not of a, I mean, if I had to take a guess percentage wise, it's probably not as high as you think. It's probably about 30%. Not
But
every case.
it's not the Ouija boards that are the root. It's the people's misuse of the Ouija board.
Correct. And good point. I'll let you go with that. Go with that. Run with that.
So Ouija boards are a tool. And just like any other investigative equipment, it's still a phone that you're picking up to communicate with the other spirits, and you're still creating a portal to communicate to the other side. There are proper ways of using it. Now, the problem lies is that Ouija boards were sent out to stores as an entertainment device because there's no, scientifical, like logical explanation and definite way saying that you are communicating with spirits. So they had to say for entertainment uses only. Now,
Right.
since this is put out into game stores, tons of kids and tons of like very naive and like people with just innocent intentions were just buying this and just using it thinking it was a game and not really taking it seriously. But it is a tool that can be used. And just like Jack says, in all honesty, anything can be used as a tool, even a feather. So no matter what you're using with the intent of communicating with the other side, you're still creating that portal. Now, people can go through training to properly use Ouija and spirit boards. One popular location to receive the training would be Lilydale. That includes lots of prayer, lots of salt, very strong intentions. I don't know the exact, because I wasn't trained in it, but we do know people who are. But and there's actual Ouija board apps as well. So that really goes just honestly, I think draws in the more innocent in terms of younger children who are curious. And it's all basically just people who are misinformed on how Ouija boards really should be used. And that tends to put a target on their backs.
True. Good point.
Yep. So it's not the Ouija boards, because the Ouija board can't start communication itself. It's the people who use it.
Correct. But we don't get a lot of cases that involve people using Ouija boards. I mean, there are a few. Like I said, I would guess like 30, 40%. It's probably more like 30%. Case-wise, because a lot of cases involve other things that usually people who are dealing with some psychological issues on top of being haunted and stuff like that. And actually, it can be those issues. It doesn't mean they're crazy. It just means they may have something really bad that happened in their past that they've never really dealt with and never told anybody about, and they keep that in. And that type of energy draws these negative spirits and things, or even just spirits to them to feed off of that energy. That's kind of just, I guess it becomes malignant. Okay, because we're talking about really bad things that have happened to people, rape, stuff like that. So that tends to be more of a reason why people experience hauntings than even the Ouija board stuff. It is interesting, though. And we have had a couple of cases that have involved Ouija boards, yes. But not a lot. Oh, here's a good question. It's kind of a follow-up question. It's a question from Sarah. Do handmade Ouija boards really work, or are they more bogus? No, they can work. It's all about intent. If you believe it's going to work, if your intent is to try to communicate with something through even a homemade board, yeah, it can actually work, because it's your intent to talk to something, right? That's out there, some spirit, whether it's in your home or even just talking. If there's nothing in your home and you're trying to communicate with spirit, they'll come in from other places. It doesn't mean they have to be in the location you're in. They can, once you've opened that communication up, you're opening up a portal to talk to the other side. So anything can come through that portal. So yeah. And I've always said these things, Ouija boards are no different than using some of these devices you see on TV shows, even that we use, like a K2 or
divining rods.
Divining rods. Yeah, recording. You're opening up communication. You're asking for a portal to be opened to communicate with those spirits. So you got to be careful, and you've got to close those just like you would. You got to treat those just like you would treat a Ouija board. You kind of know what you're doing. You want to make sure you're only looking for what's really in that location. Uh, Trying to find, talk to something that's positive. And there's no guarantees, because the real truth is you never know what you're talking to when you're talking to spirits in the paranormal, or you're trying to contact spirit in the paranormal. You really don't know what you're talking to. You may find out that later on, and it may not be what you thought. So, but yes, they can work. So be careful. It's like anything else. Just be careful what you're doing. And let's go throw this up there. It says, as an old collection of a couple boards, but they are never used. They are now antique. That's very cool. We know a lot of people collect them. Right, Carly? We got a few friends that collect them.
Oh yeah, Steve Brought's one of them.
Yeah. I actually even have a couple myself. That one that we obtained through a case, but that has been sealed, closed, and blessed, and it can actually never be used again. So that was kind of a dead board at this point. And then one that we got in the mail that was never opened. It's still in the wrapper and everything else, and it's actually sitting up on my wall up there. I don't know if I can. I don't know. Maybe you guys could see it. There it is. It's called It's where is it? So I can point the right direction. Right there where my finger is. It's called the Bob's board. Right. It's never been opened, never been used. It's just sitting there. So I had to do something with it. So
it will never be used.
No, it will never be used. It's still in a cellophane wrapper and everything else. So at least not in my lifetime, it won't be used. So
not in mine either. At least not in my vicinity.
Yeah. So it's an interesting thing, but it's called a Bob's board, and it supposedly was created by this serial killer to talk to his victims,
which is very interesting. That's an interesting concept.
Yeah.
Someone.
It is interesting.
Yeah.
So that was after he became sorry for what he did, I guess, or something. I don't know the whole story. I never even read the whole box, but you can look it up. I think Bob's boards are out there. So, but no, I would never use it. So it's just not my thing. It's not Carly's thing, and but it makes a nice display piece. Anybody comes over and hangs out or whatever. It's a lot of nice things. I mean, I got all my posters up there too, so kind of interesting. It's a nice display setup. Scariest EVP, Michelle asks. What's the scariest EVP you ever heard? I don't know if I heard a scary EVP. I never really think of them that way, I guess. Most interesting one for me was a couple that we caught on the USS Constitution with Spirits of New England, where it was a young boy, actually answering questions. You can hear them. Oh, there's Ellen. She could answer that. The most scariest EVP ever heard. But I was talking about the Constitution, the most interesting EVP ever heard. That was a young boy helping. Actually, he was actually helping give a tour at one point. He was saying some words and stuff like that. So very interesting. And actually, you can listen to those on our spiritsofnewengland.org website. If you go there, it's under our evidence page. What about you, Carly? You ever hear an EVP that was like scary to you or disturbing?
No. I did actually try to capture, like during my haunting for my phone, I did actually try to record some of the noises that I would actually like physically hear, but every time I went to go record, because they were pretty terrifying, like they were really weird and very creepy, my phone would stop recording. Like it wouldn't let me record at all. It wouldn't let me do any video, and like any other time, my camera would be totally fine. I wish I could have recorded it because it was literal. Like I don't even know how to describe it. I don't think any natural thing could make those noises. It was weird, but I think that would have been the scariest EVP ever. But my favorite EVP is the one of the girl going hi.
Oh yeah. It was a case we were doing. Yeah. It's almost as if she was fangirl
Fangirling.
Jack Kennedy. I mean, it was kind of weird.
Hi.
Hi. It was that. Yeah, it was really weird. That was
I
strange.
love.
It was probably the strangest EVP I've ever heard. Actually, I'll admit that. Um,
I love how you can feel the emotion behind the EVPs. Like whenever we get like a class A EVP, there's always some, and it always astounds me every time we find a really good EVP. You can feel the emotion behind it, and it's a little mix of like kind of, I guess, desperation to try and get that contact out there with the emotion of the message behind it. So it's very interesting.
it is, and I never try to actually, gain intent from an EVP though, because you never really know what the intent of what they're trying to say
Right.
is. Because some things
Exactly.
can sound scary, and they're actually not meant to be. So you got to be
Right.
careful with that too. You got to be careful with trying to glean intent from an EVP. There's a question from Bob Burnell for you, Carly.
Oh,
Have you considered writing a book on grounding, etc.? I think I'm not the only one that could use help with that matter. Go ahead, Carly. That's your question for you.
actually, I do have a pamphlet on grounding for the lecture that I was going to be doing that got canceled for COVID because of COVID. It is a trifold pamphlet with a step-by-step instructions on how to properly ground. Also has a list of stones and different kind of, I guess, tools that you can use while you ground or after you ground to maintain your shield. And yeah, so if you're interested in that, I can definitely send it to you.
Yeah,
I'm
Bob,
not.
I'll send you a copy. Just
I am.
don't put your mailing address up here. Message us privately for that, and we will send you out a copy of that. We'd be glad to.
And I am not patient enough to write a book.
Yeah, sure. You just rather game instead. Anyway, that's
That's
you
true.
could write a book. You could write. You'll write one someday. Maybe not now, but you will. I'm gonna throw this up because Barry is talking about grounding and how he does it and stuff. So I'll throw that up there because it's good information. Everybody does things a little bit differently, but
Mm-hmm.
it's all good information to share. And that is a good way to ground, Barry. We've had that discussion with Barry a few times.
Mm-hmm. And that's also in the pamphlet as well. There's a bunch of different methods that you can use. I mean, Tibetan singing bowls are one of them. Chimes are one of them. Walking out, grounding outside, also called earthing, is one of them. You can go hug a tree. That's actually the visualization between or with I think it was monks meditating outside of a tree actually has the grounding effects to that. Trees are natural grounders, so when you're near that, it's kind of like a circuit between you, the tree, and the ground, so it's an easier grounding process.
Yep.
And there's a lot of like physical and like an physiology aspect to your bodies in terms of electrons, neutrons, and all of that good stuff that I'm not really going to get into right now because it's a lot in depth. But
Right.
yes, absolutely.
Right. And we could even we get quite a few people. I mean, we can send them out to you if you guys privately send us your mailing addresses, but we can also post it up online as well, or send you a digital copy. But we'd be glad to mail you a hard copy. We have a bunch of them sitting here that we never got to use. So unfortunately, COVID came and destroyed everything. So yeah, and even Carl said he'd be very interested. So again, there's Chris
Oh,
Sanders
awesome. I just got it, Bob. Thank you.
and Michelle Cook. I'm having problems with my computer too. Like stupid fan is like dying here. So
Tonight's the
yeah,
night of technology problems.
well, this fan has been kind of, and it's a new computer, so it's been I don't know, it's been dying for a while. I'm gonna have to get it replaced, bring it in and get it fixed. It's just the fan, but I've got a fan on the system here too that I can always run. But yeah, it keeps trying to start and then it dies. Start and then it dies. All right. Well, anyways, hopefully the whole computer doesn't die. That's all I got to say about that. In fact, I'm gonna reach around and turn on the other fan just to make sure the computer stays cool. There we go. All right, and let's see.
Hi, Chris.
And Chris Andrews says he can't stay long, but he wanted to say hi. Hi, Chris, and we're going to have to reschedule you. I know Carly was talking about that. So, because we really love to have you on. So, but thanks for stopping in. Hopefully you can stay a little bit. I know he's been out and about quite a bit. So, going different places and running around. I've seen some of his posts and stuff. I saw he was over by the was the Black Angel he had posted about.
Oh, that's cool.
Yep. So he's been going around places. And let me see. Holly here says, Carly, get
Dragon.
it's like Dragon.
It's a program.
Oh, okay. Talk about program witness. Okay, cool.
Actually, I think our workplace uses it for dictation. So yeah, I'm definitely familiar with that. I'll have to check it out.
Okay, let's see. This is something from Drunkle Phil. Say so. Considering the first rule of physics is that the energy cannot be created or destroyed. True. So I just watched a series on Netflix about life after death. They were talking about reincarnation, like the boy who could remember vivid details of his former life, of a military pilot who died in World War II. Yeah, I remember that story. Is that considered to be a paranormal phenomenon? Well, I mean, it has to do with the afterlife. It has to do with spirits and human spirit and soul. So yes, it's within the paranormal phenomenon. Because we don't understand it, we can't explain it. So paranormal just means above the normal. So yeah, it falls within that realm. And
Yeah.
and there's a lot of people who have a lot of theories on that, and there's a lot of people I've met who have done past life regression stuff, and you know they have supposedly lived other lives. I say supposedly because I don't necessarily, I don't want to say I don't believe in it all, but I don't follow it too much. I don't know an awful lot about it. I can't say I've ever felt like I've had a previous life or anything that would indicate that, but who knows? I don't discount or discourage anything because we just really don't know. So, but if somebody tells me that's what they did, I believe them. You know, maybe be a little skeptical about it, but I'm not gonna just dismiss them for what they say they believe really happened to them.
Well, the very interesting ones, and I will say, are, and we've had some people come to us and talk about their children when they were very young. Like first, they just started, forming sentences and being able to properly communicate. They would talk about being with certain family members on the other side that they would have no possible way of knowing about them or communicating to them, and telling their parents, like, yes, I was waiting to be with you, like I was in your belly and I chose you, and I was this person beforehand. And they would recount how they died very matter of factly. And I've had 3 people come up to me last year and tell me about this. Like, it was like boom, 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 one after the other. Their kids basically were like, yeah, I talked to your great grandmother and like did her by name or did a weird nickname and said, yes, she looked like this and this and this, and there was no pictures in the house whatsoever to that the kid would be able to see, like just walk around the house every day and see. And they would be like, yes, I died from doing this, and then I went to heaven and I waited to be with you, like I chose you, mommy, I chose you, and I couldn't wait. And they could even tell you like they were with their siblings beforehand, and like they were waiting for their sibling to go before them because they knew that they had to be second or third or fourth. So I am a huge believer in it, and also based off of my teachings. Mm-hmm. That was a very common topic.
Very cool. And I just threw that up there because Bob was Barry March was talking about YouTube channel.
Nice.
I think. Here was a link. I think that's the link. Yeah, the ground.
Sweet.
So there, we'll share that with everybody, and that's up on his Facebook. But not everybody is is watching on Facebook, so I'll put that link up there for everybody out there to see. I see. Okay, here's a question. I don't think I have the answer to this, but it's an interesting question. Michelle, is it true after you die it takes 3 days to pass over after you die? No idea, Michelle. I mean, I really don't know. We haven't really been able to ask those questions of people on the other side. Never actually even thought of asking it. So I don't know. I mean, where did you actually? I'll ask you a question. Where did you hear that from? Because I actually have never. Have you ever heard that before, Carly?
I mean, I've heard that sometimes it takes a while to deal with baggage. I think it's very relative. Like you have baggage that you have to deal with on the other side, and I think that could take years, months, days, maybe even minutes. I mean, it depends on, and there's no time on the other side, so
there's no perception of time.
How it's a very weird concept, but that actually would be a very interesting thing to ask. During an investigation. I mean, respectfully. I mean, don't just be like, how long did it take for you to pass over when you died? Like, you have to make sure, like, you're like how.
Off. You lost your sound.
Hello. We're having tech issues, aren't we? No.
Nope. I still can't hear you. I hope it's not me.
Hello.
I don't know what just happened, but we lost your sound, Carly.
I'll come back. I'll come back. Come back.
No, I tried turning your mic on and off, but it didn't come back on.
I'm gonna leave. I'll come back.
I can't hear you. Through the doors, I can't hear you.
Oh, they can hear me.
She's in a different room. We got 2 doors between us, so I can't quite hear what she's yelling at me.
They can hear me. Or Holly says she can hear me.
What I can do is take you down and see if I can put you back up. I'm going to remove you for a second. Hang on. Let's see if this works. Try it now.
They can hear me.
I'm going to hit your... I don't know what you did. Did you touch something over there?
No. Look. They can hear. Look at the chat. Look at the chat.
I don't understand what you're trying to say.
Chat!
Oh, chat. Oh, so they can hear you.
Yes.
All right. Everybody else can hear you, but I can't. That's interesting.
Oh.
I wonder if it's my headset then. What if my headset died? That's possible. I don't know. I'll try my other headset. Hang on. Maybe it was mine.
All right. I'll go through questions in the meantime.
Bear with us, people.
We assume you do have 3 days because
switch out headsets here.
Jesus walked the earth for 3 days saying goodbye.
Oh, yeah, it must have been that headset that died. Sorry about that. It was on my end.
No worries. I'm just doing Holly Cataldo's thing for saying we assume you do have 3 days because Jesus walked the earth for 3 days saying goodbye.
Okay.
Very interesting.
Well, that's an interesting concept. That would be just a Catholic Christian belief then,
right?
Because that's just goes with that. So but that's interesting. I mean, maybe that's true. Maybe it is true. I again, that's not I ever really answered to, but that does that would make sense. I had just never heard that before. And Bob Burnell is talking about reincarnation, and I think reincarnation explains a lot of stuff, like Beethoven writing his first pieces at 5 years old. True, yeah. Well, either that or he's just a total genius, one or the other.
Well, he was also deaf, wasn't he?
I believe so. Yes, which is interesting.
Very interesting.
I wonder if he could feel the harmony. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he didn't hear it, but he could feel the vibration. I wonder if that's how. I don't know. I don't think anybody ever asked him. And that was ages ago. So, okay, that's all interesting stuff. I didn't never really gave that thing before. Yeah, and I know. Yeah, it all turned out to be my headset died. So I don't know why. It should have been charged. The box was charged. It should have been fully charged up. So. I don't get it. I don't know what happened there. Oh, interesting. She was taught that in In the convent. Oh, well, okay. They sometimes, I guess, teach you things there that they don't teach us laymen. So, so
Mhm.
interesting. I did. Although I went to Catholic school. Well, I went to Catholic school up to second grade, but I don't remember. I don't at least remember being taught that. Maybe it was, but I just don't remember it. So,
Oh, I have
a
a
long
question
time
for
ago, people.
I have a question for Holly. I
Oh,
learned
okay.
something. I learned something new today, and I wanted to know if she might know about it. What is Candlemas? Because I learned that today. Someone sent me a text saying "Happy Candlemas," and I was like, "What?" I had no idea that was a thing. So I was just curious. Who knows what Candlemas is and how you celebrate it? What you do and the lesson behind it, like the reason of celebration. So just curious about that.
I told you. I just told you who to ask. I know who would know. My son John would know if anybody knew.
Yeah, but I want to know if they know because it's like they're right
True.
here. Yeah.
True.
Um,
I've never personally heard of it. I mean, at least not that I remember. But then again, I may have heard of it years ago,
right.
and I'm just old now, so I don't remember a lot of things anymore. So, I've had a lot of years to forget a lot of stuff, Carly. I'm sorry. That's the way it is.
Well, Wes Evans has a question. He said, "How
Oh,
did you
Bob
guys?"
says to take myself down and reboot myself. Thanks, Bob. I'll do that. Bye.
Okay. How did
Just kidding. I'm sorry. Bob called me out. I just had to do it. He told me to get off, so I got off.
um Wes asks, "How did you guys get into the paranormal?"
Oh, how did we get? Where's Wes's thing? Oh, there he is. Oh, I guess I gotta throw up this. Really? What did Ellen say? Now I'm curious what Ellen said. How did we get into the paranormal? Oh, I don't know. Ellen McNeil dragged me into it. That's all I could say. Well, actually, I was always into the paranormal. And then when I was 17, I had an experience that scared the living. That was the only experience I could say I had that's really scared the living daylights out of me. And I got out of the paranormal. I didn't come back to it till many years later, and I actually had forgotten about the experience. And Ghost Hunters came on, and I got really interested. And I went on a line to a chat room, kind of like this. It wasn't in that video at the time. It was a chat room where it was the Beyond Reality Forum, and it was hosted by Taps. And that's where I met Ellen McNeil and her whole crew, and quite a few others as well. And that's how I got back into the paranormal. Was just watching, when Ghost Hunters really came back on, and it really inspired people like myself and Ellen and everybody else, who had kind of always. I mean, I actually was just on my own, kind of doing type of stuff they were doing to try to, because my mother grew up in a haunted house that my aunt lived in, and uncle stayed in for all those years. Was their family home, and we used to have experiences there. So I used to try to debunk them, not realizing what I was really trying to do at the time. In my mind, I was just trying to find out: is it really something, a ghost, or is it other things that can cause it? So I found I was doing the things that they were doing on their show after I saw the show. So it really got me back into it. And then, like I said, that's how I met Ellen McNeil and Beck Gann and quite a few other people. So yeah. How about you, Carly? How'd you get into it?
I was thrown into it. So,
Well, you had your haunting, yeah.
yes. So I had
But
my
you could have
haunting.
decided to go completely away from the paranormal, not had anything to do with it.
Well, they still would have followed me though. That's the
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
If I didn't get into the paranormal, my haunting wouldn't have been resolved. I probably would not be a Christian, and I don't know. It's very interesting how certain paths in your life kind of really, have an effect on how you live your life. But I had a 10-year-long demonic haunting that was resolved 2 Christmases ago. Thank God. And the aftermath of that is I want to be that person that I needed during that time. So I want to help other people resolve their hauntings, and kind of be there to help them through it. Because it's a lot to go through a haunting.
Yeah, definitely is.
It does
And,
have an effect on you. So
yeah. And there's a post from Carl Mitchell on Candlemas.
ooh. Presentation of the Lord.
I'll let you read that.
Oh. So Candlemas, also called Presentation of the Lord or Presentation of Christ in the Temple, a Christian festival on February 2nd, commemorating the occasion when the Virgin Mary, in obedience to Jewish law, went to the temple in Jerusalem both to be purified 40 days after the birth of her son Jesus. I did not know that she did that. I didn't know that happened.
I had not heard about that either, but again,
very interesting.
I never actually even really heard about that in church. So, yeah, that is interesting. So that's what it's about. And I trust Carl. He's a good researcher, and he knows his stuff too about his religion and stuff. And here's something from William Maskell, and we do want to give you our condolences on your dad's passing, and sorry to hear that. We'll put some prayers out there for him and your family. But anyways, he's going on Saturday morning prior to this funeral. My wife and I were sitting in our living room when our dog started barking, started freaking out. I looked to see a blackbird flying around my kitchen and immediately thought it was my dad saying goodbye. No idea where the bird came from because of frigid temperatures. My house was totally secured. What are your thoughts on the concept of a spirit visiting loved ones shortly after passing? Well, it happens a lot, believe it or not. I'm going to tell you something you don't want to hear. This is old. It was something my mother told me. Now, she was, her family was from the old country and stuff. She wasn't, but her mother was directly from, her father were directly over from Poland. They used to say when you saw something that was a bad omen, blackbird. If it got into the houses, birds getting into a house are a bad omen of any kind.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like meant death, things like that. So I'm not saying that's the case here. I'm just sharing some old wives' tales information, old beliefs systems. Could it have something to do? I mean, if it could, but I mean, it could have been coincidental too. I always tell people go with your feeling. If you feel it had something to do with your father coming and say goodbye to you, then that's probably what it is. I mean, it's what you, to me, it's the sense of what you get from the experience from what happened. It is very odd. How would a bird get in your house without you guys knowing about it? I suppose,
especially in wintertime.
Yeah, they might get in through an attic or something like that. That's also possible, and somehow ended up downstairs. But we don't know. We don't know. So, William, I would say go with what you believe it is. But yes, oftentimes family will either visit in some way, shape, or form, or leave some kind of message in some way, shape, or form. Maybe something that just brings back a strong memory of them that you just find randomly. It could be a keychain, could be anything that they used to own that just suddenly randomly appeared that you hadn't seen in a long time. It can be very subtle things. I mean, but yes, they do come to visit us. And let's see, here's another from Drunkle Phil. Considering your theories of the paranormal, are either of you religious, spiritual? Do you attempt to debunk practicing religions based on your evidence and experience? Well, I'm Roman Catholic. Carly is, what's your denomination?
Well, I'm Christian. I don't believe in denominations.
Christian. All right. Okay. So, I mean, but we go with the evidence. When I walk into it, I'm also a believer. I'm not going to tell you I'm like a skeptical believer or something like that. I know the afterlife exists. Right? I've experienced enough, and my own beliefs tell me that it does. but I've experienced enough and seen enough to know that it does. But when I walk into an investigation, I reserve my judgment. Even, we have a 13-page form people have to fill out and send to us before we'll even go to do an investigation. So we look at everything. And that questionnaire asks a lot of information, even about the type of medications they're taking, or even if they're taking illegal substances, which we don't reveal to anybody, but we gather all this information. And then when we do investigate, first thing we try to do is figure out what other natural causes there are for what they say they're experiencing. We don't just assume it's paranormal. We don't just assume it's a ghost. I can't, because if I did, I'd be biased before I walked into the place. And you can't help people if you're biased. So you got to reserve your judgment, and you've got to be careful about what you decide might or might not be paranormal, even of things you catch. And I actually have a presentation I do that talks about that, where we captured on video something that looked like two figures in a doorway, and it wasn't. It's just the way the camera caught it at the moment, the shadowing and everything else. But it looked like two people. I always present this one because it looks like two people standing in a doorway, and some of the people in here can attest to that. They've seen it. It really does. It looks like male and female standing in this doorway. But it turned out it was just the way the shadowing of cleaning products on a shelf in that open doorway appeared. Made them look like two people, just the way the shadowing fell. So you've got to be really careful about and you've got to go to extreme lengths sometimes to try to determine what really is it. You got to go I wouldn't say extreme lengths, but you got to go the extra mile to determine whether something is paranormal or not. And that's why we do what we do. So hopefully that answers your question. What about you, Carly? You agree with all that?
No, I do. I do agree with that.
Anything else to add to that? Any things you like to do personally?
I'm trying to
like any
think of
technique you like to use to try to disprove what you think is something paranormal.
Right. I'm trying to word it in a way that's not going to seem. So, goodness. When people come to us and talk about their experiences, I've actually had people tell me this. They're like, you must be a skeptic, because like literally the first thing that comes out of my mouth is, well, could this have been the cause, or this could have been the cause? The first step to really proving if something is paranormal and kind of debunking it is debunking every single possible thing. And then at the end, if you're left with nothing, then it could be paranormal. But in terms of, and they do say, it's like, wow, man, you really must not really believe in the paranormal. It's like, no, I do, but you got to make sure it's the right thing. I am very spiritual, though. I take a lot of that into account, especially if people are in the process of not or trying to figure out their type of spirituality. If they're kind of confused or they don't know which direction they're going, that can also play a lot into the paranormal aspect of things. Especially if you're practicing a religion, or like say witchcraft with spells, and you don't know what you're doing, you really need to take it seriously and learn what you're doing, because that can actually lead to a lot of issues that you may not know about, because there are proper ways to do things with intent and everything, and you can't be kind of vague about it. But that's pretty much my take on it, but I do 100% agree with Jack as well.
Yeah. And I just put up a thing from Barry about the dogwood tree, and yes, I have heard that before, Barry. I'll just pop that up there again in case somebody didn't see it. A dogwood tree having been the type of tree that was used for the cross of Jesus, and ever since then they will never grow straight. So they can't be used for that purpose again. I have heard that. I don't know how true that is, but I have heard it.
So one thing I do want to bring up, I apologize for interrupting, but for Wes, I looked up into the blackbird, because I wanted to look up the Native American meaning towards the blackbird because I felt like
Yeah.
that was the
Oh,
right way
okay.
to go about this. So
Yeah.
it says the blackbirds are symbolic of magic, hidden potential, awareness, and transformation. The
Yeah.
Native Americans also had beliefs regarding these birds. They had great respect for this bird. Several southwestern tribes heralded the blackbird as a bringer of light that escaped from the darkness of the cosmos. So I hope that brings a little bit of peace to you,
There you go.
as well. I'd take it as more of a positive, especially since he thought it was from his father. I'd take it more as of a positive message.
Right. Well, it goes to show you different cultures have different views on things, right? So my mother and her family, coming from old Poland, had different view of what it meant, right?
Right.
It was more
Which
negative
it
thing, something like that. But other cultures have a more positive view of it. So
right.
again, it's interesting that different cultures have different views on different things. So I
Right.
just always
Which
find that.
it did bring up the other one, but it also depends on how it approaches you or how it comes to give you the message in a way.
Gotcha.
Um,
There you go.
but yes.
And Sarah asks, how are mirrors connected to spirits? Well, mirrors aren't. Well, I'll let Carly answer that one. I've been doing a lot of talking.
So mirrors aren't necessarily connected to spirits. Hang on. I'm gonna go off of what you said. But I
just was gonna say, hey, I'm gonna let you take it. It's like,
but
he wants me to talk to you.
mirrors are a tool that spirits can use to I guess contact to our side of things. So the way I like to describe it is there's our plane here, and then the other side is us, but just a little bit above. So that's their dimension. And the mirrors allow with the reflective surfaces between allow to reflect in between the two dimensions. So it kind of acts like a portal in a way. Which you'll kind of see in like video games and movies. Sometimes if you come up to mirrors in games, you'll look into the mirror and it's the flipped reality. It's like a whole nother dimension, but just kind of flipped. That is kind of similar to the concept. But mirrors can actually create portals. Especially common would be two mirrors facing each other. It's like an infinite loop of reality, kind of in a way. So that can create portals within mirrors that spirits can then travel to, and also other entities can create portals through mirrors as well.
Yes.
And there are such a thing as haunted mirrors that spirits can attach to in order to like kind of transport from one place to the other. But that is the concept of mirrors. It's more of a tool used by spirit. And I understand why you don't like mirrors. I have had that kind of experience with mirrors, and you've caught me doing this a couple times. I sometimes cover up the mirrors because I've had moments where I've looked into a mirror and seen them behind me, and you turn around and they're not there, and then you turn back and they're like closer, and it's terrifying. But so I like to cover up my mirrors sometimes, and I totally get that. But I mean, if mirrors are totally harmless, if there is,
I often have strange experience with mirrors. I look in the mirror like in the morning and stuff, and I see this old guy looking back at me. I don't know who the hell that is, but anyway, it's kind of weird. Yeah, gotta laugh a little bit. Come on.
I'm trying not to laugh
I
because
don't
it's a little
recognize
mean,
who
but
that
it's
is.
funny.
It's
a little funny.
recognize who that is anymore.
But
And I threw up something about Ellen about a case we had in Massachusetts that there was a lot of mirrors that were in the attic upstairs, and they all had portals in them. Almost every single one of them, and there was something demonic attached to that location. Anyway, not the individuals, but the location itself. So as I was closing them, well, the funny thing was, as I was closing those different portals and stuff, and the attic started to actually shake. We had scratching noises, some banging noises, and the attic started to shake until I finished all the prayers and stuff, and then it settled down.
It's probably how it was coming through.
Yeah, it definitely was using those to move around. There's no doubt about it.
But one thing for Michelle is that I would look into is the practical use of mirrors with feng shui. because they can be used with feng shui to maintain the energy of a certain room. I know you're not supposed to have any mirrors in the bedroom at all, but like in your living room or in your bathroom, like in specific spaces, how your house is oriented, it can be used to manage the energy that's being put around your house.
Yeah, true. And Michelle says I'm not old. Well, I'm not 30 anymore either. So it's just making a point. And just making a joke. So don't worry about it. It's all good. So
I'm excited because I can rent a car next year.
Well, I thought you could get rid of one now.
Nope, 25.
You can be changed it. It used to be 24.
Yep. You can drink alcohol at 21, but you can't rent a car until you're 25.
No, I know that. I know because we had a problem with a girl came to work. She's an engineer, and she got a job with us. She was 22 at the time. We had to send her on travel. She had to go on travel for work, and when she got out to where they didn't want to rent her the car because she wasn't. Well, at the time it was 24. They didn't want to rent her the car. She goes, I'm on travel for the federal government. I got to have a car. They had to call the rental car company and sign off on some other crazy waiver to allow her to rent the car she needed to go do the job.
Yep.
Yeah. And she's a federal employee. She was on federal paperwork, and federal travel papers to do it. So they actually shouldn't have gave her a problem anyway, but they did. It's just weird. So
it totally doesn't make any sense. I understand it, but
you can die for your country, but you can't rent a car. Okay, whatever. Is what it is. And here's Holly's view on portals, and best way to close them is to do prayers and tape a triangle in the corner of the mirror.
In the center of the mirror.
Oh, in the center of the mirror. It closes them anyway. I never heard of the triangle thing. I don't do it that way. I do prayer and I visualize closing the opening. And that seems to work too. So there's a lot of different things. Everybody has different ways of doing things, and that's why it's good to learn new techniques, and that's why we have this show. So
yeah, everybody's unique. They all have their individual techniques.
And she says she learned that from a shaman. So very cool.
Very interesting.
Again, different cultures and different people have different ideas and different methods on how to do it. So, and all can work.
Yeah, they're all effective. They all work.
Yeah.
There's no one way to do things. There's no one way is the right way and that's the highway. No. Everybody is unique. Everybody has their own way of doing things, and that is totally fine.
Yes. Yeah. And if you believe, it's all about your belief systems, what you believe in and what you believe will work. And it's all your intent of doing it, the intent you put into it. If you're truly putting the intent to close that portal into it, very likely it will work because you really feel that. And Ellen just said this. I had to throw this up because Sarah Alexia asked, Jack, what do you think of the variant portrayals of yourself of different ghost experience shows? And Ellen is correct. We call him Fake Jack. Yes. Yep. Fake Jack is awesome. I love Fake Jack. I love it's nothing like me on A Real Investigation. I'll tell you that. It's nothing like me. But I like the William Shatner-esque portrayal of me. Yeah. Oh, my God. Do you hear that? There's a ghost upstairs.
My favorite one is the shaking on the bed.
Oh, yeah. Where I had a convulsion on the bed with women holding me down. That was good. Yep. That was a good one. That's a hilarious one for many reasons. It never happened. But hey, all the better for TV. I don't mind when they do stuff like that, when they exaggerate. And it's an exaggeration. And it's okay. I get a kick out of it. We have fun with it. And I do know who the guy is and stuff. He's actually also a singer and songwriter. So it's kind of impressive. I mean, he's kind of an impressive individual. And he's done a lot of different work on it, a lot of different shows after he played me, by the way. Played me, and I got all these offers to do other things. A lot of people don't remember this, but he was, I may not remember the commercials, but in the original Nacho Fries commercials, he was the guy who was like saying it's a conspiracy and all this stuff. And he did quite a few of those, not the new ones, which are more, actually, those are more paranormal related. I consume you, you don't consume me. But he was in the original one. You can find him on YouTube and stuff like that. Look up the old Nacho Fries commercials, probably from back in early, like 2014, 2015, somewhere around there. So, yeah, we love him. That's all I'll say about that. He's cool. We love him.
One Halloween you need to dress up as him.
How can I dress up as him? I don't look anything like him. He doesn't look anything like me.
Vest, suitcase, and
well, yeah, true.
You know.
I always said I was going to wear a suit and carry a suitcase to an investigation sometime. We don't do that, by the way. But
no.
But Big Jack does. Big Jack looks good doing it too. It's okay. Very professional. He's very professional.
Ellen
says, what did she say?
They like when they portray her as a sexy librarian.
Yeah, and all the girls are portrayed as these like sexy librarians. They all wear glasses, which almost none of them do. So it's interesting. It's just interesting how they pick people to play your part. So it's fun, though. I mean, it's fun. We get a kick out of it.
I won't lie, though.
Some people take offense to it, stuff like that. I do not take offense to it because I get it. I get the whole concept of Hollywood. You know.
For my episode, though, they had me down exactly. That is what I looked like. I had braces. I had that attitude. When that girl was like, "Okay, Mom," I was like, "Oh my God."
Yeah, that was Carly.
They actually got it down really good. I was like, if I ever see her, I want to give her a hug and just be like, "You deserve an Oscar." Because that was amazing.
Yeah, you can give her your own Oscar for
I will.
So it's fun. So, anyways, people, I hate to say it, but our time is up, and we always enjoy you all coming out and visiting with us and sharing your ideas, thoughts, and asking your questions. We love talking with you. That's why we do this show, and we love when you talk to each other and share your ideas and thoughts and concepts. And that's what this show is all about. And don't forget, I am part of a new show, and Carly is actually going to be part of it too. On and off. We're going to kind of switch off from now and then, of Seekers of the Unseen, which premieres this Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 8 p.m. Central Time. And Candace Weston, our good friend who runs ICU Paranormal, we are part of that team, is a host, and she created the idea, and it's all about the psychology of the paranormal and its effects and on investigators, the psychology of the impact on investigators, people who are haunted, and the general public, and other things beyond that. But it's all get into the psychology of the paranormal, which Candace is really into. So join us for that this Thursday. We appreciate it. We did put the post out there. It will not be on my Facebook page or any of our channels. It'll be on Candace's Facebook page. You can look her up. I did already post it on my Facebook page, and I did put out, she is just going to be on Facebook and YouTube. The YouTube channel is ICU Paranormal. You can look it up there and like that page and like our page on YouTube as well. Subscribe to it, please. And that's Paranormal Q&A with Jack, Kenna, and Carly Hall. So I think it's just Paranormal Q&A. But yeah, like us or subscribe to us there, and you can watch us there if you can't get on Facebook, whatever. But we enjoy all of you. We appreciate it. If you're looking for any of my books, again, you can find them all on Amazon.com or BarnesandNoble.com. Just type my name in the search bar. Just type in Jack Kenna, and my books will show up there, including my comic book. So, Carly, anything from you?
You also have a show on Thursday with Ted, right?
Next Thursday, the 14th.
Next Thursday? Okay.
Yeah. Ted Banson invited me to be on a show. I guess there's something going on there, so I will be on his show on the 14th. Carly will be on.
The 14th is a Sunday.
No, it's not. You're looking. I gotta be looking at the wrong thing. Whatever that date is. Whatever that Thursday is.
11th.
Okay, the 11th then. Sorry. So the 11th, yeah. But that's the same as the next show. So Carly will be filling in for that show on the 11th. And for the Seekers of the Unseen, I'll be doing another show with Ted Vanson, and we'll go from there. All right. So again, thank you for joining us. Anything else you want to throw in, Carly? Anything on your Twitch stream? You can always talk about that on here. You can always throw it out there. Your username is. Go ahead. I'll let you talk about it.
My username is thisfruitcake2. You can find me on twitch.tv/thisfruitcake2.
Mhm.
The horror game that we're going to be working on is Five Nights at Freddy's. So you definitely are going to want to tune into that. I've never played those. Hopefully I'll get freaked out by them.
There you go.
Yeah. So
And
Friday.
I know she even talks about paranormal stuff on her show too, because I heard her talk about it last night to somebody. So
if you ever love to talk about paranormal stuff, go ahead and join.
They do. They do.
I'm going to be part of a tournament coming up in February for Call of Duty Warzone. So if you'd love to watch that, I will have more information out there. It is for money actually this time.
Oh, wow.
So it's got some stakes on it. So
wow.
I'm just doing it because it's my first person shooter tournament and I get to play with my friends. But there are some stakes for first, second, and third. So that's really it.
All right. All right. So thanks again, everybody. We'll see you all next Tuesday night here on our show. I'll see you, some of you this Thursday, or hopefully maybe all of you this Thursday on Seekers of the Unseen. Have a good night, everybody. We love you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.